I would like to start this video out by asking some simple questions. My first question is the following: if you have a black face as the leader of your organization, does it mean that that organization is controlled by black people? So that's question number one. Second question: is Black Lives Matter an organization that is controlled and run by black people? Now, I'm not going to answer those questions. I'm asking you, the public, and I'm not just asking black people, I'm asking people of all races, however they want to describe themselves, this question. So it's not a question for me to answer. I have my answer, but I want to hear your answers in the comments below. I'm going to play this clip. I'm going to comment on it, and also I want to talk about this recent I think it's Daniel Penny situation with the situation that happened on the subway in New York City with the guy being choked on the subway. All right, let's get into it. But yeah, remember those questions. Like I said, the first one is you have a black guy as the face of the organization, or black people, woman, whatever. Does that mean that it's ran and controlled by black people? And the second question is Black Lives Matter ran and controlled by black people? So marinate on that. Let's get into this real quick. Let this nonsense get done with real quick. Here we go. Okay, so even like with this situation right here, it says what happens. This is what happens when black people are financially autonomous from white supremacist structures. All right, like the nonprofit industrial complex. Again, is that a true statement? I mean, it's easy to look up the main funders, and that's basically why I asked those questions. If you go back to the beginning of BLM, you'll know who is behind these organizations, the start of it. And it makes me think of I forgot who the quote is attributed to, but basically it might be J. Edgar Hoover, I'm not sure. but somebody before him probably said it. But the idea is, when they were concerned about the rise of a Messiah, right, a black Messiah, and all the things, it kind of goes on line with that. And the idea is basically that if the people want a leader, we will give them a leader, right? They don't want a leader that's organic leader that just rises up from the people, that can be controlled or bought and sold, right? That's a dangerous leader. All right, somebody that rises organically like that. So if they can't control a person, they usually get rid of them. As we've seen through the 1960s. I mean, if that wasn't a good recent example of that, I don't know what to tell you. Okay, so the first step is, okay, this guy's talented, he's a leader, he rises to the top. Let's take somebody like Dr. King, for example, right? All right, he's gifted, intelligent, etc., etc. The people want to follow him. So the first step is, well, let us sink our claws into him. These organizations, right? The elites, these billionaires and millionaires in these organizations and corporate entities. Hey, let's get control of this guy. And then, right, he's the leader on paper, right? Leader, air quotes, but we're really pulling the strings in the background. So that's the first attempt. And this is what normally happens. So even if you look, right, and you'll see guys like I'll use like LeBron James, for example. All right. The guy's very talented, right? Face of the NBA, all this stuff like that. So, organizations, of course, right, want to use him. So it's fashionable, right? It's trendy to be politically outspoken nowadays. Back in the 60s, Ali era, it wasn't trendy to be politically outspoken. All right, you were just basically supposed to just go out there and perform your sport, be humble, thank everybody, and walk away, kind of like Joe Louis, and we'll see you at the next event. Be humble, gracious, don't say a word, right? Ali was brash, right? He kind of ushered in that new era, right? He spoke his mind. He spoke about things outside of the sport of boxing, and was frowned upon, and he paid the price, right, with 3 years of his prime years taken away as a result of his beliefs, etc., etc. And of course, most of us are familiar with the story of Ali, so no need to get into it. But fast forward to this time that we live in, it's very fashionable, right? It's a fad to be involved in some way politically, or to speak out on world events. Okay, so knowing this, more athletes, whether it's Colin Kaepernick or LeBron James, these athletes, will tend to speak out on certain things. However, it still has to be controlled by these corporate entities. All right. So, for example, you have an uncontrolled situation, which is like what happened with Kyrie Irving when he wouldn't take the vaccine, for example. Right, it was an uncontrolled situation. You see how he paid a stiff penalty, and he's still paying penalty. Of course, they hit you in the pockets. You don't get the marketing. They're giving you fines. They're making life hard behind the scenes for you. Now you can have, and also he had remember he got in trouble for the movie tweet, right? I think it was like an Amazon movie tweet, like the Black Hebrews or something like that, and he got in trouble. He got in trouble for that. Okay, that's uncontrolled. That's like an uncontrolled leader. That's a leader that that hasn't been controlled or brought in, basically, and given the script on what to say. Like, he's offline. He's out of script. This isn't part of our package. Whereas LeBron James, for example, right, if he speaks out on something politically, right, it's kind of like it's the controlled version. Here, say this, and then it looks like you're being politically conscious, etc., etc. but you're not going too far. So say when the thing with Trayvon Martin happened, the NBA players were wearing a hoodie and stuff, and they're like, oh, he's politically active. Like, wow, that's great. It's everything is controlled and scripted, and that's what they mean. Like, oh, if the people want a leader, we'll give them a leader, right? They'll give you the leader that they approve of and that they control, and they call this what's known as controlled opposition. They'll have somebody out there speaking against white supremacy, speaking against racism. So your uneducated mind is saying, hey, this person's on our side, right? Look at how he's talking down about those people. Wow, he's calling them white devils and all this stuff. Like, wow, look what he's saying, all this stuff, right? But meanwhile, it's just controlled opposition, because at the end of the day, there's no results. There's nothing happening, nothing tangible. It's just all rhetoric. It's just makes you feel good, get you excited. Like, yeah, this guy's telling it like it is. Yeah, that's all he's doing is telling us something that we all know already. There's no action being taken, right? There's no remedies. There's no solution being given. You're just being entertained, right? It's just like if you go to some churches and you hear a preacher that's real good, right? And he's singing, right? You get those singing preachers and they had the organ playing in the background. It's like, God told me to tell you, came down through 42 generations, and it's very entertaining, right? And then, you leave, you go back to, your regular life. So it's controlled opposition. All right. So this quote right here, I mean, you tell me, do you think that that BLM is financially autonomous? Right? And then the word is from white supremacist, and the grammar is incorrect also, right? Because the S should be gone. But anyway, white supremacist structures like the non-profit industrial complex. Let's keep going. All right, so they didn't get back. Okay, before we get into this Daniel Penny situation and this next clip about BLM leader talking on the this News Nation channel after the acquittal, I do want to say, to play devil's advocate, is that in any organization there's gonna be bad bad apples, so to speak, right? Because a lot of people say, see, look, they're stealing and this and that. There's always going to be people scamming and stuff like that. So just because, there's some few, bad actors in an organization doesn't necessarily mean that the organizational ideals are wrong or that it should be dismantled, right? There's a lot of scam artists in Christianity, right? A lot of these preachers and stuff like that. Doesn't mean that Christianity should be dismantled or, you throw the baby out with the bathwater, right? You throw away the good ideas and concepts. Okay, you throw away the golden rule, right? Because this preacher's flying around $65 million jet, or this guy scammed, some old lady out of life savings. Probably not. So don't think just because okay, there's I showed a clip of somebody, whatever, that's buying mansions with the money, that the whole organization is bad. So that's not what I'm definitely trying to insinuate. That's why I ask those real simple, straightforward questions, because it's definitely deeper than that. Oh, okay, somebody's stealing money, that means the organization is bad. No. The next question I have to ask is, and this is a question I feel like I've heard several times in several different forms, and the question is, why, at least it seems this way, why does Black Lives Matter only get involved when there's a difference in race? So, right, a black victim and say white perpetrator, right? It's not black on black, right? At least we don't see this nationally, right, on the news. I know there's these um, killings in Chicago, the shootings, the gang violence, all the stuff like that, and I just don't see looking through, and searching, on the internet, many cases, definitely national cases where BLM is protesting and making this public stand against this black on black situations, which I feel are more serious, and because they're more frequent. All right, it's definitely more frequent. I mean, amount. I did a video about some of the rap artists. I mean, the amount of talent that is being lost is like just incredible, and it's always like it's always a black person killing a black person. Young black guy kills another young black guy. They go to jail for 50, 60 years, and then it's who's up next, right? Whether you talk about this, King Von, right, FBG Duck, right, the Chicago rappers, Julio Fulio down there in Florida, the Gotti situation, Little Dirk. I mean, it goes on and on and on. So I haven't heard any Black Lives Matter, comments on these situations, or even like getting protests together, or marching, whatever they do, concerning to me, which is the most pressing situation. Right, that's to me. These are the most pressing situation. And again, this is why I go back to controlled opposition. Who is in control? That's the question. Yes, you have a black face here, and right here, as you can see, at the beginning of this clip, you see a black girl sitting on the right. Right, she's BLM leader. I mean, I don't know if she's actually a leader, but that's what they have there. She's the representative, at least. Okay, and so it's like, yes, you see a black face, but who's really in control? Right? Who's crafting the message? Who's deciding, hey, we're gonna speak out against this, but not against this? And one of my theories, I can't even call it a theory, I haven't researched it well enough, but one of my thoughts, right, like with the hip hop situation and all of these young men passing away. I can't even use it's too light, but I'm trying to use my words sparingly because of YouTube, trying not to get demonetized, because passing away just sounds like, oh, it's just an unfortunate accident. Man, these guys are being, I'll use the word, knocked off. These guys are being knocked off, right? It's not, nobody's passing away from natural causes, old age, stuff like that. These are deliberate knockoffs, right? Whackings, people getting whacked, right? Like, that's what's going on. And it's like, I look at it in this way. It's so profitable, right, for these labels and companies, right, and the industrial, prison industrial complex, that it's almost like they tell these organizations, I don't really say nothing about that. Let it be. Because you have to think, a lot of these artists are worth more money dead than they are alive. All right, so such and such, rapper X has his contract tied up in the record label, and he owes all of this money, right? He's not selling that many albums. He's 1 foot in the streets, 1 foot in the studio. He's not a big artist. He's really not going nowhere. He's been rapping for 8 years, right? But the record company might have, $3 million insurance policy on a guy. Something happens to him because of his risky lifestyle. Okay. In year 9, there's nothing. This guy's not going anywhere. All right. Not that they put the hit out on him, but it's like, it's just like if something happens, it's not a big deal. They cash out. All right. They get $3 million. They pay off whatever they recoup whatever he was in the red for, whatever, $700,000. And okay, and they get the next young aspiring rapper off the street, from whatever hood you want to name, Philly, Baltimore, right, Bronx, LA, wherever you want to go, Michigan, Muskegon Heights, wherever you want to go, New Orleans, anywhere you want to go, hoods everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So that's just one aspect. Then you have, again, the prison industrial complex, because somebody got to pull the trigger, right? So they got to lock that guy up for 50 years. So that's job security, because since he's locked up for 50 years, somebody has to watch him for 50 years, right? There has to be a judge to sentence him for 50 years. There has to be somebody to feed him for 50 years, etc., etc. Somebody to run the facility. So you get where I'm going. All of these jobs are provided. Keep these communities going. So if you speak out against this violence, hey, stop doing this. It's crazy, and you really start making an impact. Hey, gangs, don't fight each other. Don't do this. Unite. Go legit. Start businesses with the money. And you really get that message across. People stop doing this, right? Stop committing these crimes. The community in these different neighborhoods, no doubt, are going to get stronger and stronger. So this is just one of my thoughts on why it doesn't get addressed by this big, huge organization with all of these millions of dollars. Yeah, you get like local activists talking about it, but these guys aren't getting any press. Right? You get the Charleston Whites of the world, they're not really getting taken seriously. They're not, getting the big press. Yeah, you got Reverend so and so, right? I remember back in the days in New York, Calvin Butts in New York City, he gained a little traction, because he was just talking about the hip hop culture back then. Right? They're talking about the hip hop culture back then in the 90s. So it's kind of like almost one of those things. It seems like, why would you avoid talking about something so obvious and egregious, such as this black on black crime, and then you go all out for these like obscure, and again, no disrespect to the loss of life, but you go all out protesting. You're on news network after news network over these like random, like most accidental crimes. It's not like the dude got on the train, he was like, this one, I'm gonna catch me a black person slipping, like, or something like that. And whether you on one side of the fence or not, that's neither here nor there. It's just that you put all this energy on something that, some people, regardless of the race, are like, yeah, this guy did the right thing. It's unfortunate, the end result, but this guy did the right thing. Whereas you have situations that are just like outright egregious. Like, say what happened with like Julio Fulio. Like, where was the protest? Where was the protests and the marching in that situation? Or Gotti's brother Big Jook, where was the protest and saying, hey, this is wrong? The King Von situation, where was the protest? Where was the protest after FBG Duck? Where was all the outcry and all of this stuff like this? The only people that doing it are like the locals and the people, like, the family members are saying, the mothers crying and stuff like that. But you have this huge platform, millions and millions of dollars, and you don't see the public. Um, you don't see the energy being focused into those like obvious situations. Speaking against gang violence, stuff like that. It's almost like you're looking. It's almost like you've been told to make sure you only talk about things that's gonna um deal with some kind of color disparity. Like it has to be black and white. If it's black on black, don't talk about it. If it's black and Latino, don't talk about it. If it's brown on black, any kind of other thing, Asian, don't talk about it. Indigenous people, they don't even exist, right? Don't talk about it. It has to specifically be somebody from European descent and somebody from African descent. Then we gonna make the biggest spectacle out of it and talk about how um you know racist the country is and all of this stuff like that. That's why I'm asking you the question: who is in control of the organization? I want your opinions. Get in that comment box. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. I'm not claiming to be right or wrong. I'm just giving thoughts. I want somebody to tell me. I've been researching this for a long time, but I want somebody to tell me what they think. I'm not one of those who think I have all the answers. But what I don't like is I hate. I'm gonna use the word hate. I hate race hustling. Cause there's money in race hustling, just like there's money in preaching. Race hustlers to me are up there with the fake preachers that just scam people out of their money. Right? Because there is racism, of course. There's always gonna be racism. There's always gonna be hatred. There's always gonna be poor people. Okay? But what the race hustler does is tell you that everything is racist. Oh, you didn't get that job because they're racist. You got fired because they're racist, right? Not because you came to work late every day. And then when you did get there, you had an attitude because the boss asked you why you keep coming late. And because you called in and you had 5 no call no shows, right? It has nothing to do with that. It's because the company's racist. And then you had the race hustler, right? Pat you on the back. Yeah, it's racist. We don't worry. We're gonna dismantle the system. Everything is racist. Let's get into this clip right here. That's what I despise. Okay, Jordan Neely, of course, being the victim on the subway. I don't know if I should use that word, but he's the one that passed away on the subway from the chokehold. And Daniel Penny, of course, is the guy in the middle here with the thumbs up. You see, so here's one of the tricks is basically going off and creating a straw man argument, and also red herring, just getting right off the subject and just saying basically in this country. Now it goes off the subject of what's being spoken about to now we're talking about in this country black people doesn't get justice. And the interviewer brought up a good point. You're identifying every single one by race. Oh, this black guy, this white person, this and that. when multiple people, and you know, go ahead and do your own research. Multiple people that were there, black women, they scared to death. And again, if you're not from New York and you haven't been on these subways, it's kind of like a experience that you should try. Ride the subway system. Yo, I'm from New York. I'm a lifelong New Yorker. I grew up in Staten Island. Rode the ferry. Shout out to my Staten Islanders from Mariners Harbor, and go way back. And I know exactly these situations, man. Sometimes you get these guys that are high, mentally ill. You get people singing on the subway, and you could look right. Go on YouTube right now. You could, after this video, of course, after you hit the thumbs up, you can see people, singing on the subway, doing all type of crazy stuff in New York. Look at those Only in New York videos. You'll see what I'm talking about. People doing all type of crazy stuff. People fighting on the people fighting, all the stuff like that. I said with you a story. This is actually a personal story, and this happened to a friend of mine who is not from this country. A lady that comes from the great country of Poland. Shout out to my Polish people out there. Jak się masz. She was riding the subway. This happened a few years ago, and there was some guy on the subway, and a black dude, and he was just on like this guy. He was like yelling at people, basically yelling at white people, calling them devils, all this type of stuff. He wasn't one of the Hebrew Israelites. I know they say that stuff too, but he was just like, just a black dude, and he was just yelling on the subway. And he didn't know her from Adam. He got in her face. He's yelling, calling her a devil, bitch, all type of disrespectful thing. The messed up part about it too is this was actually her first time ever riding a subway. And we still talk about this, years later, to this day. And no, she did not become racist and all stuff like that. And hate all black people, because she has a brain, But it's this unfortunate situation. But when this situation happened, that's what I thought about, And this dude doing all this stuff, doing too much, and somebody, decided, yo, this has to stop. Because the thing is, some people be like, oh, why didn't you call the cops? You gotta understand, when you're in the car, the train car, no cop is gonna just be able to appear on a moving train, and it takes a while for the cops to get there. I mean, if somebody pull out a knife or something, you're gonna be stabbed. You're gonna be dead before the cops get there, right? It's not like you call the cops and then they're just there in 2 minutes. It doesn't work like that in New York, right? All type of stuff happens. People get robbed. The train makes a stop. The person runs off. By the time the cops get there, all they have is that grainy surveillance footage. That's it. They probably never even catch that guy. All right, so that's why those people on the train, when that happened, they understood. Yeah, it's unfortunate that the guy passed away, but they understood why the dude did what he did. My next question is, if Daniel Penny was black and the other guy was black, would we even be talking about this situation? And this is what I'm talking about. It's always BLM always dealing with a color issue. If that guy was black and the other guy was black that choked him, would it be an issue? I'm not gonna answer that question. That's for you guys to get in the comment. Let's keep going. Okay, first of all, here's some disinformation here. First of all, if he was holding the blood choke for 2 minutes, the guy would have been dead. So that's the first thing, because the blood choke is 8 to 10 seconds. I just happen to be a purple belt, also a jujitsu. Listen, a blood choke, a person going out in about 7 to 10 seconds. What happened on the video is obviously he just held him in a position. All right, and then again, another disingenuous thing is they never want to tell you the toxicology report till later. Then you find out, okay, all type of stuff was in the guy's system, and there are other factors, right? Because yes, you can hold somebody and loosen the choke. Believe me, if he had the choke on, that dude would have been asleep. He would have been asleep right away. He was holding the guy. And again, I'm not justifying it. I'm just saying what it was. Don't try to make it like he was choking for 2 minutes. You guys watch enough UFC, 8 to 10 seconds out. If you hold the choke for 30 seconds, the person gonna have a brain damage. If you hold it on, they're gonna be out, and that's why they get you off the person real quick when you're in MMA matches. As soon as he's out, and then the ref will get you off him. Another thing too is her saying, "Oh, Marine is scared of her." She was getting ready to say a crackhead, and then said labeled as a crackhead. The thing is too is, again, I don't know where she comes from, but we know that people on drugs like angel dust, aka PCP, and other type of drugs are strong as hell. So that idea, like, oh, he was scared or whatever, like that, I'd be scared too. I'm gonna tell you another personal story. So I'm an iron worker by trade. Shout out to my iron workers, right? Out there, New York City area, local 46, 40, 361, local 417. Shout out to laborers too. Shout out to local 11 in Jersey. Listen, man, I remember one time I was working in Jersey City. I want to say near like Route 7 bridge, but anyway, so me and my iron worker buddy, we're walking. Shout out to Quinn, by the way. We're walking to a gas station on break, and there was this dude. He was like kind of heavy set. He was like a homeless dude. You could tell like he's always in front of that gas station. Like he's out, asking for, change here and there and stuff like that. I remember seeing this guy. He was laughing and stuff. We're walking in the store, and he kept saying over and over. He was like, "Welcome to the world. Welcome to the world." He kept saying that over and over. We thought it was funny because he was like smiling and stuff. We thought, yeah, this guy, he's just out of his mind, whatever. But he's not. He's harmless, right? He just kept saying that over and over. Welcome to the world. Welcome to the world. Like just over and over. So went in the store, came out, and when he came out, when we bought our stuff and came out the store, dude put his hand out like for like a handshake. He was like, "Welcome to the world." Put his hand out. So at first, I was gonna be like, just keep it moving. You know what I mean? But we were like real close, and it was like, let me just shake this dude's hand real quick. I had on gloves anyway, right? It was cold. It was like, let me just give him quick handshake real quick, and I should have did the fist bump, but let me give this dude a quick handshake. Satisfy that and keep it moving. You know what I mean? Man, I shook this dude's hand, and the dude would not let my hand go. The grip was crazy. Like it took like all my power to put, and he was laughing the whole time. He wasn't trying to do nothing else. He wasn't trying to like grab me, nothing like that. He just wouldn't let my hand go. Just kept shaking my hand and saying, "Welcome to the world." The grip was crazy. Like I had to use all my power and put my other arm and pull my hand away. And me and my buddy were like, "Yo, we thought we might have to jump this guy." And my friend, he didn't get involved like right away because he was shocked because he was like, "Man, you can't get your hand from this." You know what I mean? I pulled my hand away, but it was just the dude was unbelievably strong. So I could understand how somebody would be like, yeah, you see some of these dudes, man, they skinny or whatever, they out of their mind. It's like, man, you do not know what they're on. And how much stamina they have and all of that type of stuff. So this lady's kind of talking like, it's like she's on some BLM talking points, but it's not realistic. Get in the comments too. If you ever scuffle with somebody that's high or on drugs or something like that, or somebody that's mentally ill, the strength is unbelievable. Like if you worked in, one of these mental institutions, something, let me know in the comments, man, what y'all think. Word. That's it. And he did a good job. Again, red herrings, getting off the subject. Why did he smile, or why did he not ask about the well-being? All that stuff. The question is, why was he acquitted? Was he right in what he did, or was he wrong according to the jury? That's it. What did the witnesses have to say? You see what I'm saying? And I don't know if you noticed in the video, there was another guy helping Daniel Penny out. A Latino brother. Shout out to the Latino brothers and sisters. You see what I'm saying? What they're trying to do. BLM in this instant is trying to make it about race, but the facts don't add up. You have a white guy holding the black guy, and then you have a brown guy helping the white guy out, because it's not about race. See, you trying to go against nature and trying to make it something that is not. The question is, why? Why are you going overboard? Not to talk about real serious issues that's happening every day with all of this gang violence and shootings in the communities, right? And the music and the lyrics, right? And the lack of lack of education, right? These are the real issues. It's the internal hatred that is the real issue that exists in the communities. It's just like when Chris Rock said, when I go to the ATM at night, he didn't say ATM, he said the money machine. He used the old language. He's not worried about the media. He's not looking over his shoulder for the media. He's looking over his shoulder for the N word, right? That's what he said. That's what he's worried about. He said there's black people and there's N words. That's why I feel a lot of feel the way I do about certain things, because I see when someone is being disingenuous, because I'm like, why is there such focus on these type of incidents? Always gotta be black and white. Always. If it's black on black, it's like we're not talking about it. If a black cop goes crazy on a black person unlawfully, it's not being spoken about. It's like the perfect scenario it's like if somebody tells these representatives, okay, it's black and white time, go get them. Again, America is inherently biased. Now we off the subject again. Now it's the whole country. See, it's almost talking points. Like, you told to always just. In other words, you can't answer the question at hand. So now you just go to this overriding concept of America is inherently biased. right? Why is America inherently biased? Well, we have all 400 years of slavery and blah 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 blah, and it's always been like that and blah blah. Right? It's kind of like an algorithm. If this doesn't work, go back to slavery. Go back to Jim Crow. Right? If you can't answer the question right now, let's go. Let's go back to the Underground Railroad and talk about how white people had a head start, and this is why we destroy our own communities today. Right? Let's make that link. That why every time there's some kind of incident, we decide, hey, we're gonna burn down our community and we're gonna loot and rob, because all of this racism that has occurred, because of all of the trauma from this racism, I need a new 60-inch television. It's so much racism that has occurred in the past that I need a new pair of Jordans for free. Right, that's my reparations. Right, a 60-inch screen TV and a new pair of Jordans. Okay, the jury is racist. Right, she doesn't know who the jury is. They're just racist. Right. Okay. So now her the argument is that if black so when the question is, well, black people said that the guy did the right thing. Black people called 911. Her de facto argument is to say, well, black people can be preconditioned to basically saying they're self-hating black people. Let's just get to it, right? So basically, there's an answer for everything. So if you're black and say, you know what, this guy did the right thing, then you're a self-hating black person. So there's no. So if you're white and you said he did the right thing, you're racist. And if you're black and said he did the right thing, you're self-hating. You've been programmed, and basically there's no way around it. Also, if something ever happened to you on New York subway, you had a close call confrontation, with a situation like this, let me know, cause I'm sure a lot of people have seen a lot of stuff. I've seen a lot of stuff. People getting people get kicked out for holding the doors, or fights on the subway, all type of stuff, and never get reported, right? If you have a story about New York subway, something that you experienced or you witnessed, get in the comments. Okay, so that's that right there. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like I said, I asked a couple of questions, at the beginning, and please get in the comments. Let me know what you think. Like I said, to me, it's not a right or wrong issue, but just really trying to find out, where you guys are at, what you think, the people that have, stumbled across this channel, like, what do you think about it? Like I said, I do despise race hustling. Like I said, to me, again, the whole BLM thing, I think I want to say too. I want to also bring up too what Malcolm X, man, has. I'm not gonna show the clip. Everybody's seen the clip before at one point or another. It's on YouTube. What Malcolm X said about the about the white liberals. And how dangerous they could be. That person that comes in, to befriend, the black, person and stuff like that. And again, as time goes on, the deception, becomes harder to decipher. But this is one of the oldest tricks in the book, is to put a black face on certain issues. Put a black face ahead of organization. Black leadership, in air quotes. But behind the scenes, there's people controlling them that are not actually black. So you tell me, once again, do black people control Black Lives Matter? So please like and subscribe. Please get in the comments below. I love hearing from you guys. I don't care if you agree with me, don't agree with me. If I'm missing something, man, add that in there. I'm here to get educated too. I'm learning too. So with that, love all of you guys, and see you in the next video.